Shame is this powerful, overwhelming emotion that arises from inadequacy, guilt, and disgrace. And when it's being exposed or humiliated, or that feeling of unworthiness, because we feel like failures.
Welcome to the Secret Life Podcast. Tell me your secret. I'll tell you mine. Sometimes you have to go through the darkness to reach the light. That's what I did. After 12 years of recovery in sex and love addiction, I finally found my soulmate, myself. Please join me in my novel, Secret Life of a Hollywood Sex and Love Addict, a 4-time bestseller on Amazon. It's a brutal, honest, raw, gnarly ride, but hilarious at the same time. Check it out now on Amazon. Welcome to Secret Life Podcast. I'm Brianne Davis-Gantt. Today we're pulling back the curtains of all kinds of human secrets. We'll hear about what people are hiding from themselves or others. You know, those deep, dark secrets you probably want to take to your grave, or those lighter, funnier secrets that are just plain embarrassing. Join me each week as we take a deep dive into one subject matter, exploring the how, what, when, where, and why of it all. Get ready for a more focused, more revealing journey of the human experience. This is Secret Life, and I'm excited for you to join the ride. Today, we are talking about shame. 4 types of shame. Yes, toxic shame. There's healthy shame and toxic shame. So what is shame? Let's talk about it. We all experience shame at one point or another. So shame, the actual definition, is a painful feeling of humiliation or distress caused by the consciousness of wrong or foolish behavior. And shame, there are 4 different types of shame. There is class shame, right? Class, like I'll go through them: existential, situational, and narcissistic. So there are 4 types that plague us as human beings that really tell us that we have this deep, deep self-loathing, shameful feelings inside of us, and we are trying to escape them. So let's go through these 4 different types. So here they go. Existential shame. It's the type of shame that stems from a feeling of being fundamentally flawed or tainted as a person due to past actions or shortcomings. It's a deep-seated belief that one is inherently unworthy. And I encounter a lot of this type of shame with my clients. And as an addict in recovery myself, I felt this deep, deep unworthiness, that I just had this belief that I was inherently bad. I was inherently unworthy. I was missing a part of myself that just was not okay and unworthy, unlovable, not enough. And if you are listening, I'm sure you felt this. So I felt that existential shame at the core of my being, and that drove me to escape myself. Here's another one. Situational shame. A lot of us carry around baggage from our past and our childhood, especially teenage years, where we were put in situations. And this type of shame arises from specific actions or events that lead us to feelings of embarrassment or self-blame. It's tied to particular situations or behaviors rather than a core identity like the other type of shame. So for me, that shameful situation in my book where I was played that April Fool's joke by classmates in 6th grade about the boy I had the crush on, and they played that April Fool's joke. And I wrote about how shameful I felt in that situation when they played that joke on me. And in that moment, that shame, that embarrassment, my crush was used as the butt of a joke. In that moment, that a feeling of embarrassment and self-blame, that I opened myself up and was vulnerable
with these people and I was to blame. I did that. I allowed that to happen. That's when the shame overwhelmed me and embarrassment. And that sealed the coffin for me to shut down and be in shame. Next, class shame. This is the type of shame that's linked to one's social class or social economic status. It can involve feeling inadequate or ashamed of one's background, financial situation, and social status. And listen, I, for the longest time, would go to fancy restaurants and feel out of place and not feel like I should belong and like, I don't belong here. I don't even know. And I even go to sometimes still parties or events and red carpets. And I'm like, even though my name's on the list and I'm supposed to walk the red carpet, I don't belong. I'm not supposed to be here. I don't know. And I still feel like I have to put on that facade or mask, like, buck up. This is like, act like you belong, fake it till you make it, that kind of thing. And it's like that situational shame that I fundamentally do not belong, that my background, I should not be here, when you can be anywhere. You can walk in and you belong everywhere. It does not matter. And then at the top, it's like my parents were always credit cards, things always behind on the bills. And I always felt like we were the lower middle class and everybody we went to school with was upper middle class. And my sister feels the same way. We had jobs at 15 that we were always like trying to act like we had money as well as our classmates. So I'm sure if you are listening, you probably felt class shame. Lastly, narcissistic shame. This is a complex form of shame that is often masked as narcissistic behavior. Individuals with narcissistic tendencies may project a sense of superiority to avoid facing their own feelings of inadequacy and shame. Ding, ding, ding. I definitely, especially in my addiction, had narcissistic tendencies and would put that I'm better than you, you can't talk to me, resting bitch face, I know it. And I would make myself feel superior because inside I felt less than. And a lot of people you see, they do this act where their ego is out of control because inside they actually feel less than. So those are the 4 types of shame that can plague us as human beings. And it stores in our body, and shame stores in different places. But the main places shame stores is our chest, our stomach, our throat, and our lower back. So even while you're listening to this, notice where it's tight in your body. If it's in your chest, stomach, throat, or lower back, if there's a tightness, knots, or general feeling of discomfort, that might be shame storing in your body and showing its head right now because you are listening to this podcast. So shame is this powerful, overwhelming emotion that arises from inadequacy, guilt, and disgrace. And when it's being exposed or humiliated or that feeling of unworthiness, because we feel like failures. So let me just tell you what the difference between guilt and shame, because some people get this mixed up. There is a difference. Shame is focused on self. Guilt is focused on an act. Shame is hard to resolve. Guilt is resolved in a healthy way. Shame is felt over long periods of time. Guilt is felt over short term. Shame is caused by critical self-judgment. Guilt is caused by fear of harming others. That's the understanding. There's a key difference between these 2 negative self-conscious emotions. Shame reflects who we are as a person. Guilt reflects on what we have done. So when I say that emotions and shame, it's inadequacy and guilt and disgrace, it's about who we are, not what we have done. So shame can be experienced a ton of different ways, like I said. Embarrassment, intense humiliation. It just has a really profound effect on your self-esteem and your relationships in your mental health. Now, how does it work on relationships? Let's look at that because it can turn into toxic fucking shame. And toxic shame messes with relationships like nobody's business. Now, before I jump into what is toxic shame and original shame, toxic shame is chronic. It never goes away. It plagues us. It's ongoing. It's persistent. It lives deep, 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 deep within our unsubconscious mind. Addicts have it. Mental illness, constant. You constantly go back to that shame. We may not even be fully aware we're experiencing it. Original shame isn't pleasant by any means, but it often is just this feeling of wrongdoing. But over time, it just kind of lessens. So this affects relationships bad. We withdraw, we isolate, we hide. We then attack self, criticize, self-harm. We can even go to self-harm. We then attack others. We blame others. We lash out, even though we are a part of the problem. And then we avoid. We deny, and we turn to some kind of escapism. And that doesn't have to be chemical, as you know. It can be other things, the progressive diseases, eating disorders, overworking out, shopping addictions, buy, make more money, workaholism. You know, sometimes I'm like, have I turned into a workaholic because I have 9 to 10 sessions and I have so many clients and I'm doing 2 books? Like, and I had to take more time off, cut down, not take on new clients, have a waiting list, not focus on that, take more time, not work on the weekends at all. So this is where you have to go. Am I trying to escape and take the shame of, oh, I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back to those old behaviors, or I don't want to turn to a new addiction because I'm feeling shame because I'm not ... and less than internally. Does that make sense? So here are the 11 signs you might be suffering from toxic shame. Number 1, self-loathing and low self-esteem. Self-martyrism or self-victimization. Lately, a couple of clients, I'm like, you are a victim. You are a self-victim. You are victimizing yourself when you are the cause of your situation over and over and over again. Number 3, feelings of being a fraud or a phony. Yes, a lot of people are going, I just feel like I'm like not real. I'm a phony. I'm a fraud. 4, dysfunctional relationships with others. 5, self-sabotage. I have so many self-sabotagers. Do things go well in your life and all of a sudden you're like, let's sabotage and blow up some shit. Number 6, feelings of chronic unworthiness. Number 7, frequent feelings of sense of irrational guilt. 8, addictive tendencies. 9, people-pleasing. 10, perfectionism. 11, angry, defensive persona. Are you always angry? That's what you have to look at, because shame is different. Shame is different. It's like there's a part of you that feels unworthy, and you, sorry to say this, want to be seen or by other people when you shamefully aren't seeing yourself. So shame is when you feel you are wrong and you're not just your actions. Instead of I make a mistake, I am a mistake. I am not showing up for myself. I am unworthy. People aren't seeing me. It's like that's a shame, a type of chronic toxic shame. So you isolate, then you're emotionally distressed, then it affects all your relationships, and then it can lead to harmful behaviors like self-harm, eating disorders, numbing your emotions, escapism, traveling, getting away, running away, breaking up, all those things. So that's when you have to go, what is my prescription for eliminating this shame in my life? Here we go. Let's solve this shit, shall we? Mindfulness. Establishing awareness of internal shameful messages. You go, there it is. There's the shame. Something is internally core wrong with me. Or looking at, is it a classism shame? I am just as good as everyone else with money. It doesn't matter where I grew up or what I come from. Or, is that my ego taking charge? I'm okay. I am worthy. Get it? Healthy relationships, giving and receiving unconditional love. Are you showing up equally? Are you asking for what you need and taking care of yourself and backing up your word and saying no when you mean no? Cultivating self-acceptance. This is who I am. This is where I want to improve myself. This is where I need to honor my words and match my actions. Practicing self-validation. I'm okay. This is okay. What is my purpose in this life? Where do I want to be of service? Where do I need to show up better for myself and validate myself? Seeing yourself and others as valuable human beings. I am no better or less than anybody else on this planet. And showing up and being of service. Challenging your negative belief systems about yourself. So this is where I get to look at like, who was I in the past? How can I let go of those resentments and let that go and make peace with it, the old me, and show up and see myself and letting go of the old belief system that I held in resentment and now show up for myself in a new way, evolving, developing a better relationship with yourself, and then moving forward in the future. Like, how do I want to show up now? Who do I want to be now? What is important to me now? What boundaries do I need? What values? What morals? What kind of relationships do I want? Do my words match my actions? Spirituality. What's bigger than me? Where do I turn my life over to when it's hard? If it's not God or in a religion, is it nature? Is it something else? What's important to me? And then finding a person to help me with, having a therapist, a counselor, a spiritual guide, a program, a group of friends, a way of life, reading books, learning more, expanding my mind. Those kind of things get us and help us get out of shame and toxic shame and changing that negative pattern of thinking that we have held on to, that we're unworthy. Because here's the thing, if you don't fucking do the work, no one else is. I can give you all this information, but here it is. It's information. And until you apply it to your life and actually do the work, you could have someone with you 24/7 telling you what to do, but until you actually put it into action in your life, it's not going to change. So you can either be run by shame or do the work to release it and move forward in your life. So do you want to be run by shame? Because I sure didn't. So that is your homework. Where do you need to pivot in your life? Look at where shame lies in your body, runs your life, and move through it. And I gave you tons of things to look at. So now it's your job. Now it's your job to take all this information and apply it to your life and do your homework. Thank you for listening to Secret Life Podcast. I hope you enjoyed the thoughts on this show, what you want me to talk about. Send it my way at secretlifepodcast@icloud.com. Until next time. Thanks again for listening to the show. Please subscribe, rate, share, or send me a note at secretlifepodcast.com. And if you'd like to check out my book, head over to secretlifenovel.com or Amazon to pick up a copy for yourself or someone you love. Thanks again. See you soon.